want anyone to suffer. Krishna doesn't want any of his children to suffer. But if the children insist on it, there is nothing much Krishna can do. The living entity, see, the root of this sinful behavior is actually coming from the very fact that we are in the material world. Material world is not a place for a gentleman to live, actually. But the living entity insists on living here, so the Supreme Lord allows it. But because the living being is infinitesimal, but wants to enjoy infinite, so he has to suffer. Actually, in this world, there is no suffering. All the suffering, all the so-called suffering is just an illusion. It's just our attachment. No, for example, one may still live in some place, and feel miserable. I am so poor. Another person may live and feel happy in the same circumstance. Like, for example, I was like many years ago, I went to Vrindavan once, and there I met one young boy, and I was feeling unhappy that I have to go back to Bombay, and he was feeling unhappy that he has to live in Vrindavan. This is material nature. Everyone is just, uh, what do they call it? Desiring and lamenting. That's the only nature of this world. When something is not there, then people are desiring. When something is gone or something is there, then people are lamenting. Like Srila Prabhupada used to quote this, that in Delhi there is a special kind of laddu. One who has eaten the laddu, he's regretting. Why did I eat this? And one who has not eaten that laddu, he's also regretting. Oh, I should have eaten. So in this way, everyone in this world is simply lamenting. A person who is not married is lamenting that he is not married. But person who is married is lamenting that he is married. This is material world. Actually, material world means illusion. It's just everything is an illusion. The so-called happiness of this material world is just a hope. It's a hope for the future. Oh, things will become better. This will be like this, that will be like that. In reality, there is nothing existing. In reality, there is nothing here. No happiness, no misery. But simply by identifying with this material nature, we are experiencing either happiness or distress. And that's why Krishna is recommending in the very first part of Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter, 16th verse, Krishna is already recommending Arjuna to become free from this so-called sense of happiness and misery. Because this so-called happiness and misery simply arise from the attachment of the senses to their objects. Matra sparshastu kaunteya, shitoshna sukha dukkha, agama paino nityastam stitikshasva bharata. Just learn to tolerate. So that is brahmacharya. Brahma acharan. Brahmacharya means tolerating material energy. Brahma acharan, acting spiritually, not acting on a material platform. That is brahmacharya. So, in this way, actually, one can see that this material world is just so full of illusion, and yet people are running madly after all of this. Like we see sometimes, like a man sees his father dying, and yet he thinks that he will enjoy forever. He will not see that his own death is also impending, but he would just want to enjoy it blindly. You will see 50, 60-year-old men fighting with each other for father's property, not realizing that their own death is so close by. They will be taking pills for blood sugar, blood pressure, heart disease, and still fighting for property. 70, 80-year-old men investing in properties. There is this very famous businessman. I forget his name all the time. He's some 90 years old now, and he's still creating new investments. So we can see, in this way, this is how material world is run by illusion. Big men think that you see 80, 90-year-old politicians fighting elections. What is the use? 75, 80-year-old men are now claiming to be this guru, that, this and that. What is all this nonsense really? At this age, one should be very fearful of death. One should be only thinking of the Supreme Lord. And yet we see the illusory energy of the Lord works in this way, that a living entity to the very point of death still thinks of material enjoyment and not the real purpose of his life. Hare Krishna. If any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna. I read a quote from the past. Since the time has passed, doesn't belong to us, it belongs to death. I thought that was very sort of telling, sort of something that we can contemplate on that. I mean, we always think of past memories, but I mean, it's just a memory and it doesn't belong because death has already taken it away.
Yes, Prabhu. Actually, if you see, Prabhu, we only live in our dreams. We are lamenting for what has passed. We are hoping for what will be the future. And presently, we are just working like donkeys without thinking what is the real purpose of our life.
True.
This way, we are constantly creating our own suffering. Because whatever we are hoping, either it will come true or it will not. If it comes true, then we realize that it was worth nothing. And if it doesn't come true, then we are lamenting. Otherwise, why big people commit suicide? Why people are so unhappy?
Hmm.
This like in India, I was working in media companies. So everyone, every teenager in India dreams of Bollywood or media. It's so glamorous. And yet the people in media are all addicted to drugs and medicines. All of them. In
Hmm.
fact, the bigger the company, the more glamorous the position, the more people are miserable. That's the nature of Maya. To give us an illusion of happiness while we are completely miserable. Hare Krishna. So,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So this is why it is said this world, this universe is false.
Universe is false because we think it is ours. Universe is very much real. Jagat is not mithya, but the thinking that I am the Swami, that is mithya.
Exactly. Jagat is okay. But our thinking that future belongs to us, present belongs to us, past belongs to us. That is all misconceptions.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, text 4. Vadanti Vishwam Kavayah Sma Nashwaram.
Vadanti Vishwam Kavayah Sma Nashwaram.
Pashyanti Chadhyatmat Vido Vipashchitah.
Pashyanti Chadhyatma Vido Vipashchitah.
Tathapi Muhyanti Tavaja Mayaya.
Tathapi Muhyanti Tavaja Mayaya.
Suvismitam Krityam Ajam Nato Asmitam.
Suvismitam Krityam Ajam Nato Asmitam.
May I read to?
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna Vadan Pranam. Translation purport by Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O unborn one, learned Vedic scholars who are advanced in the spiritual knowledge certainly know that this material world is perishable, as do other logicians and philosophers. In trance, they realize the factual position of this world and they preach the truth as well. Yet, even they are sometimes bewildered by your illusory energy. This is your own wonderful past. Therefore, I can understand that your illusory agency is very wonderful, and I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. Not only does the illusory of the Supreme Personality of God act on the condition and within this material world, but sometimes it also acts on the most advanced learned scholars who factually know the constitutional position of this material world through realization. As soon as some small things, I am this material body, aham, mameti, and everything is relationship with this material body is mine. He is an illusion of moho. This illusion caused by the material energy acts especially on the conditioned souls, but it sometimes also acts on liberated souls as well. A liberated soul is a person who has sufficient knowledge of this material world and therefore unattached to the bodily conception of life. But because of the association with the mode of material nature for a very long time, even liberated souls sometimes become captivated by the illusory energy due to inattentiveness in the transitional position. Therefore, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.14, Mam eva ya prabhavite mayam itam tarantite. Only those who surrender unto me can overcome the influence of the material energy. Therefore, no one should think of himself as a liberated person immune to the influence of Maya. Everyone should very cautiously execute devotional service by rigidly following regulatory principles. Thus, he will remain fixed at the lotus feet of the Lord. Otherwise, little inattention will create havoc. We have already seen an example of this in the case of Maharaj Bharat. Maharaj Bharat was undoubtedly a great devotee, but because he turned his attention slightly towards a small deer, he had to suffer two more births, one as a deer and another as a Brahman, Jal Bharat. Afterward, he was liberated and went back home, back to Godhead. The Lord is always prepared to excuse his devotees, but if a devotee takes advantage of the Lord's leniency and purposefully commits mistake again and again, the Lord will certainly punish him by letting him fall down into the clutches of the illusory energy. In other words, theoretical knowledge acquired by studying the Vedas is insufficient to protect one from the clutches of Maya. One must strongly adhere to the lotus feet of the Lord in devotional service. Then one's position is secure. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you, Guru. So, see, Daivi Eshu Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mama Eva Ye Prapadyante Maya Etam Tarantite. So, Daivi Eshu Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. So, something very similar actually, Adi Shankaracharya is also singing something similar. So, Adi Shankaracharya is saying, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jathare Shayanam, Iha Sansare Bahu Dushtare, Kripya Pare Pahi Murare. So, Iha Sansare Bahu Dushtare. So, of course, like Adi Shankara is playing the role of a liberated soul. I mean, he's a partial incarnation of Lord Shiva himself. So, he acts as an Acharya. He's acting as a liberated soul in this world because he's preaching the philosophy of Mayavad, liberation, Mukti. So definitely he's acting on the role of that platform. Now, in that position also he's saying, Iha sansare bahu dushtare, kripya pare pahi murare. That except for you, my Lord, O enemy of demon Mura, no one can save me. And Krishna himself is saying, Mama evaya prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. That only those who surrender me can be taken out of it. So by the dint of one's personal austerity, if one reaches up to the platform of liberation, one is still living in danger. For example, you are drowning in ocean, somehow you manage to swim and drag yourself to the shore. You are still in danger. Any moment a big wave can come and drag you back into that water. As we see actually in the example of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they are the topmost deities of this world. I mean, they are Guna avatars. And yet we see Lord Shiva becoming captivated by the beauty of Parvati or becoming captivated by the beauty of Mohini Murti. And for Brahma, we see him being captivated by the beauty of the beauty of his own daughter Vak, and then by the beauty of Saraswati. So that is the nature of this material world. That as soon as we come in contact with this material energy, we are immediately in danger. So as soon as even you are standing on the beach of the ocean, you are still in danger. Any moment a strong wave can come and pull you out into the deep. So that's why great souls, the great devotees, they take shelter of Krishna. as we have seen in Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto also, that when Ardha Pralaya, when half Pralaya takes place and the universe is getting destroyed, at that time, when the causal ocean is churning, at that time the residents of higher planets like Maharlok, Taplok, Janalok, they are frightened by the sounds of the ocean. They are frightened by the sight, and they are reciting fearful prayers to the Lord as they ascend in their airships towards Brahmalok. So we can see that even for such great souls who have practically realized the Supreme Lord, these personalities also become frightened by the show of Maya. And definitely we see the story of Markandeya, who saw Maya face to face, who saw the real face of Maya, and he had to suffer so much. So that is the nature of this material world. So one has to surrender to Krishna. Mama evye prapadyante mayametam taratite. I deliver him. I lift him out of this Maya. So we cannot become purified by our own efforts, but by Sharanagati. That's why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is insisting on Sharanagati. Taking shelter of a spiritual master, taking shelter of the Acharya Parampara, taking shelter of Mahaprabhu and Krishna. We should always seek shelter of higher devotees who are higher than us. We should even seek shelter in each other. We should seek shelter in Srila Prabhupada. So Sadhu Sangha means always seeking shelter of each other by discussing the philosophy, by discussing Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. All the time. Devotees, when they take shelter of each other, they are actually taking shelter of the Bhagavat. Not that we discuss each other's life stories. No, we should discuss the life story of Krishna. We should try to purify ourselves. Then we'll be secure. Hare Krishna. Yes, any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Vaidyanatha Pranam. What is the pastime of Markandeya Rishi? You said he saw the Maya.
Yeah, so he was performing his tapasya.
Yes.
And then the Lord appeared. And then Lord, asked him for, offered him any benediction. And Markandeya asked Lord, Lord, I want to see that Maya which captivates and frightens the whole world. So we can see actually that at that stage where he was liberated, he had actually attained the favor of the Supreme Lord. Still that affection for Maya had not gone away. That touch of Maya still remained. He did not want to enjoy Maya, he just wanted to see Maya. So the Lord smiled and disappeared. And immediately clouds started gathering in the sky, and there was thunder and there was showers. Massive storms started blowing, and then this small Saraswati river turned into the mighty causal ocean. And Markandeya was blown away. And he had to live like that for many kalpas. And eventually, suddenly the kalpas vanished. And Markandeya saw that he was again standing on the banks of Saraswati. He was just sitting in his ashram. And actually nothing had happened. So that was the darshan of Maya that he got.
Sure. I remember now. I've read it.
Now this is one very important lesson here is this one. That Markandeya did not even want to enjoy Maya. He just wanted to see Maya and see how much suffering he had to go through. So what to speak of people like us who are actually living in Maya? So this is how we understand the story.
Durga Devi and all that?
Yeah. What about that?
As we've been saying, Maya is Durga Devi.
Yes.
So what Markandeya Rishi saw, the clouds, the storms and all that, that was all created by God.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna. I do remember. Yeah. I read it.
Okay. Very nice. Okay, so we stop here today. Thank you very much, everyone. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.